Today's music in the 4Plot podcast is from VGR. You can find them on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube by searching VGR or Video Game Remixes.
Yep.
Man.
Oh, boy.
Bringing it way back.
So you had to line up all the Pikachus and all the Charizards.
Yeah,
and all the...
No, it was just plain like Tetris Attack. But then like in the corner it was like, you were playing as Pikachu.
Yeah,
and you're just like, this feels like a natural part of this world.
Yeah,
You got to beat the Elite Four with your puzzles.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the 4Plot podcast. This is episode number 7 of Season 2. And I say Season 2 because we have other podcasts that we've never posted in long form. You can find them on YouTube, little short snippets of things. And it's mostly us making jokes about Taco Bell. But, check it out if you have the time. The Taco Bell one's a good one. I'm just saying.
It's one of the best.
I really enjoyed it. I went back and listened to it and forgot all those stories about how a guy shoved his phone through the window and asked me who I was voting for and all kind of. Taco Bell's a great place. It's just it's a wonderful place.
I feel like Season 2 doesn't have that kind of magic.
It just doesn't.
Lost
Season 2
haven't hit our stride yet.
Season 2 has lost the Taco Bell magic. Anyway, welcome back to the 4Plot podcast, everybody. Today we have Matt.
That's me.
Mike.
What's up?
And, of course, myself, Will. And we're hanging out today talking about free-to-play games and how they've shifted the market as far as games go. Free-to-play games are literally everywhere now. They've made a giant surge on consoles in the last few years. For those who may not know what free-to-play means, if you're not a big gamer, you listen to this podcast, free-to-play is simply defined as a game that is, well, free-to-play. But it makes most of its revenue off of microtransactions, in-game currency, other things they can charge for besides the usual $59.99 at your local GameStop, Walmart, wherever you may purchase games. They are free-to-play. There are a ton of free-to-play games out there right now.
There really are.
I mean, a ton.
You have to assume this kind of came about from the phones. When the iPhone,
Yes.
the game market exploded and everything was free or 99 cents. And,
Right.
It just kind of has gone from there.
Everybody's after that Farmville money, man.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
That Candy Crush.
That Candy Crush money, man. I remember doing when Facebook, when you could send people game requests.
Oh, the dark age.
And they showed up. The dark ages. When they showed up in your notifications like, hey, so-and-so request you to play Farmville.
It's really nice that they would kind of separate themselves and I would know to remove them as friends easily.
I'm not kidding you. They got an immediate unfriend because I'm like, dude, I'm not playing Farmville. And I'm not hating on you if you liked Farmville. But I'm going to hate on you if you liked Farmville because there seemed nothing fun about that game. You like little Fisher-Price toys walking around playing corn. I didn't see anything fun about that.
No.
But then again, we know people who play all this kind of online big games like that. But the deal is yes, Mike, I would agree with you. I think from the time that iPhones have come out, Facebook games, there was a whole lot of, a lot of controversy even when the iPhone came out because kids had it and they could make purchases on their parents' phone and parents are coming up and like, holy cow, how did I spend, $3,000 in my iTunes? It's because, your kids are like...
Yeah, those $150 purchases are not for like normal adults. They're for kids who are like, this is not real money. This is Fisher Price money.
Exactly. No adult would do that, right? Except, us. Yeah, exactly. But ton of free-to-play games out there. If you're, like I said, someone who maybe don't know what free-to-play games is, let me clear it up for you. Fortnite, probably the largest free-to-play game that everybody knows out there, which is one of the reasons that it took off. Just so you get a little scope. If you're sitting there going, man, free-to-play games, they can't make that much money, can they? People play, they don't pay. Yeah, right. Fortnite made in 2018 $2.5 billion. That's a B. Wow. $2.5 billion from a game that is free to play on every single different console, phone, whatever that it's on. PlayStation, Xbox, iPhone, Android, it's all free to play. And they made $2.5 billion last year. Just so you know, that is as much as Avatar. Avatar is like top grossing movie of all time. $2.5 billion.
Really?
It's as much as Avatar made.
And I guarantee you it didn't cost them that much to make.
Absolutely not. No. So all that to say, Fortnite's there. There are other games. What are some other free-to-play games you guys know of that you play a lot or that you have played that you enjoy?
I play Warframe currently. I grew up playing RuneScape.
Oh, yeah,
man. It's funny, man, looking at all these. A lot of them, RuneScape especially comes to mind. they are like knockoff versions of other games that cost money, right? I mean, RuneScape was clearly inspired by World of Warcraft, EVE Online, all those old, you had to pay $60 and then a $15 monthly fee, and only the rich kids could afford to play it.
Absolutely
insane. Poor people playing in their public library had to play RuneScape.
That's right.
but you have different games like that even still. Let's talk about Paladins. We mentioned before we started the podcast. Paladins is a game that is one of the most streamed games. We'll get to that in a little bit, but clear Overwatch rip. Just didn't even try to be anything else. I mean, some of the characters look the same. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm really going to pull up on our site here the different characters in Paladins and how they look identical to Overwatch characters.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So when we think about free to play, it's okay, man. We all get a little choked up every now and then talking about free to play games. So for you guys, let me ask you a couple questions. So let's start off right away. Free play game
Today, Junior.
Free play games have taken the console market by storm all of a sudden. Why do you think that is? Why do you think free play games all of a sudden now have this giant surge in popularity all of a sudden? We talked about a little bit of the app stuff, but why specifically on consoles do you think that it's taken off the way it has?
I think it's generally there's been a merging of what was previously two very, very different cultures, which was the PC gaming culture and the console gaming culture. As you've seen consoles essentially become more like PCs, I think you've seen those cultures intertwine a little bit more. Mm-hmm. They used to be very, very separate. Like you said, it was all those big, heavy, very high investment games, World of Warcraft and EVE Online and stuff like that. Those were relegated to PC, and then you had stuff like Counter-Strike, which was very, very specific, very niche. But you've seen that more overlap with the types of games that we're seeing on console now. So I think that's why it's kind of blended together a little bit more.
See, I'd actually say that I think it comes from the phones, because do you remember, I mean, this must be like 12 years ago when Elder Scrolls Oblivion came out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And they were ridiculed because they sold for I think it was $2.99. Was the horse armor
yes,
DLC.
The horse armor.
It was just a cosmetic horse armor you could buy. It didn't affect the game at all. It wasn't required. There was nothing really special about it. They got roasted online.
Yeah, they got blasted.
People hated it, and it was it was so insulting.
For a cosmetic armor?
$3. It was definitely less than $5.
I think it was $2.50. Yeah.
If those folks could have only seen the future.
It's crazy because now we're okay, as long as it doesn't, as long as you don't pay money and you're better at the game, that's
right.
Fine. As long as it's just cosmetics or
hey, listen, as long as it's just a $3.99 horse skin, but if it makes the horse run faster, EA, no, we don't want to play your game anymore.
I truly think it's from all those mobile games that were free and you could pay to fill up your stamina bar to play another match, or more gems for Candy Crush or whatever it is, that we're kind of okay with it now.
Right.
And a couple dollars here or there, it really adds up. So I think that it's.
But what's funny? Every now and then you see a free to play game come along. I'll give you one, and they're not many, so hear me out. They're not a ton of them out there. But Tetris 99 just came out, the Tetris Battle Royale game.
I still don't understand what it is or how it works.
I had to watch a YouTube video to tell me how to play it. I have a Switch. I downloaded it. Essentially, you're playing Tetris with 99 other people, okay? And as you make blocks, you use your right stick to say, when I make a line, I'm going to attack this person and send my lines.
They've had that before. I mean, I had a Pokemon version on the Nintendo 64, which was Pokemon Puzzle League.
So,
man. Oh, boy.
So bringing it way back.
So so you had to line up all the Pikachus and all the Charizards and all the...
No, it was just plain Tetris Attack. But then in the corner, it was you were playing as Pikachu, and you're just this feels like a natural part of this world.
Yeah,
you got to beat the Elite Four with your puzzles.
Oh boy,
oh boy.
But they ended up. But Tetris 99 comes out, and there's no. I don't know if there's any microtransactions at all to that game whatsoever. It is literally just Tetris Battle Royale, which is the weirdest concept ever designed, but it works. It was free. I play it.
I'd be interested to see how you would put a microtransaction in that game. Can you think of any?
The straight line block is right. $9.99.
You can do 99 cents to pick whichever, every 99 cents for every single block you pick to come down next.
Straight line every time.
Honey, how'd you spend $4,500 on Tetris?
I played one game. All right,
I had to win these children.
That was it. I had to smash all the kids online. As we talk about, just to put it into perspective for people who are still listening, going like, "Oh man, okay, cool, $2.5 billion." GTA 5.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. Let's explain that as well. I'm explaining free-to-play games, yet I'm using acronyms.
Lots of acronyms.
GTA 5. GTA V : $6 billion. $6 billion in sales as of April 2018. That includes, though, $60 purchase of the game across 2 consoles on 2 generations. I didn't even count PC. I just counted Xbox and for this little write-up I made here.
And, I mean, what year did that come out?
That's 2013. It came out.
2013.
Now, we do have to recognize that is an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like, that game has to be the best-selling game of all time,
It is.
right?
It is. It is. So with $6 billion, not only is the best-selling game of all time, it is the best, how they word it. It's the most profitable entertainment item of all time, like aside from movies, aside from whatever. And video game companies are always weird to release their numbers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you try to look up sales figures, they'll be like, oh, Halo pushed, $175 million in its first weekend, or like, or it'll say like, hey, Red Dead Redemption crossed the 1 billion line in its first week alone. After that, very hard to find sales numbers. You can find number of copies sold, and you can kind of do the math for yourself. Because, see, with the $6 billion, even the article that I read, they didn't know if that included microtransactions from GTA Online. You know what I'm saying?
I think it would have to. I mean,
yes, I would too. But
but I mean, that shows that it's just insane.
Right. So with that being said, let's talk about GTA. They have it. There's so many online games that are not even free to play now that have microtransactions, that have things you can buy.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about GTA, because what happened was, so GTA 5 comes out. All right, Grand Theft Auto. The whole idea is you can go around doing missions, you can steal stuff. I mean, the story is pretty interesting. It's a single-player game, but then they add in GTA Online, which is where you can do all the same stuff, basically. You can get cars, and you can go on jobs and stuff like that, heists.
Right.
But you can do it with your friends. Mm-hmm. So it's an addition to the game. It's like, oh, people might like this. Well, it was so popular, they started selling in-game currency so you didn't have to do as much to buy all the new gear.
Right.
They ended up canceling all their planned DLC, which was going to be more like story missions and side stuff like they've done on the previous games.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they
So,
canceled
it was
DLC.
it was just so ridiculous. They could just crank out all these different cars, these different cosmetic things. People were just kind of into it. They didn't have to release anything else for that game.
Which, man, I really hope that they don't do that with Red Dead, because I know Red Dead Online is not getting the same reception GTA Online is getting.
No, not nearly.
It's gotten some bad reception. But man, I feel like, just off note with Rockstar, man, when they do story DLC, it's done really well, man. Undead Nightmare for Red Dead was absolutely fantastic.
It's a completely side mission where you're playing. It's like a zombie game.
It was masterful.
Yeah,
it was so good. I love that game. And we talked about that earlier too, about how DLC now, like, when you look at games, and this is kind of falling into this topic we're about to go into, when you look at games that now release DLC in this free-to-play world we live in, it feels a little, you know what I'm saying? Where you're like, okay, cool. I would understand this $60 for all. I still would understand $60 for maps. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. Like, I don't understand $60 for maps, but like, hey, if Call of Duty was a free-to-play game and they came out and said, hey, all these upgrades and everything that are going to happen, like, that's going to cost you $30, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I'm more understanding. When I just paid $60 for your game, and now you're trying to charge me $60 for a map pack, essentially, in this current climate of, like, free-to-play games where Apex Legends is awesome and it's free-to-play.
I wonder if, for GTA, one of the reasons they got away with that is they had the base game out for a while before the online came. And then eventually you could pay for money in it. So it was almost like 2 separate games where you had the GTA 5 that you paid, and then 6 months later, maybe you could pay some online stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of those people had already wrung their $60 worth out of that game.
Right.
Whereas a lot of other games that come out, you know they're going to be charging you $50 or $60. Or
because they've got all that content there.
Yeah, so
and they're holding it back.
The season pass is available day one now, and they're going to sell you cosmetic stuff. Call of Duty has done that. I think the map pack for the season is $50, and there's cosmetic stuff you can buy, the random crates. So it's like, not only are they double dipping, trying to get you to pay twice, they're triple dipping. You have the game and the extra content, and then also those little purchases that you can do all the time, which is just, it's crazy to me.
And speaking of that, actually something I had not considered to talk about as part of this, but the loot box versus direct purchase market. You've got games like Overwatch, which is all loot box based. I mean, you do get some currency that you can build up after a while to direct purchase some things, but if you're wanting to get some stuff, you're going to have to open crates, man.
Well, let's go even deeper. You saw the news that the EU had about talking about that being gambling.
Yeah,
like they can't even do that in some places now because it's gambling, which it would be okay except for it's for children. So and I mean, it definitely is a psychological thing. It's like, hey, maybe just one more of these loot boxes, or maybe one more level.
CS:GO issues, when that whole fiasco happened.
People were selling those cosmetics that they were earning in game.
Wait, what happened with this? I don't know this.
Yes. So Counter-Strike, they have this big cosmetic community. You can sell your skins, right?
Oh wow.
I don't know if you're allowed to normally, but people were.
I think it's a secondary market. Yes. I'm pretty sure.
So I mean, and people were selling them for tons of money, like hundreds of dollars. So I mean, there's so much gray area when it comes to the random stuff.
But it's so funny because for those of you, once again, who may not play these types of games, may not understand what we're talking about. So in a game where you can just straight up purchase things like, hey, here's a red skin for your character. Hey, here's currency for the game to buy whatever you want to buy. That's just a straight up purchase. When you're talking about a game like Overwatch and plenty of others who do the same thing, where it's like, hey, you're going to pay money, real money. Now you can use in-game money, but if you want to speed the process along, Halo 5 is another one. Hey, I'm gonna buy this pack for $2.95, okay, of real U.S. currency dollars, but you're not guaranteed. The only thing it'll tell you is, you're guaranteed to, get at least a rare or ultra rare, whatever you're looking for. And here's the funny thing: there's always, and I know we're diving this podcast into more microtransactions right now than free to play, but like one of the things that's always astounded me with the fact that, and we're so used to it now, we don't even think about it anymore. Let's talk about how little it probably costs game developers and to do this whole, structure where it's like there's really no. I mean, go back and like my dad, right? If I explain to my dad, like, oh, cool, yeah, Dad, I spent $20 on buying digital items that I can't physically hold in my hand, but it makes my digital character on my video game dress differently. My dad would be like, "Give me your credit card. You're not an adult who can take care of his finances.
You need to come live at home. You're not allowed to be on your own anymore."
I'm married, Dad. I don't care. You're getting a divorce and you're coming home.
Clearly, she made a mistake. Right. You need to come home. You're coming to work on the farm.
Exactly. You need to know what a real hard day's work is, son, before you go spend money on digital currency.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's just been a slippery slope where, in my mind now, I don't know if I've justified this to myself or it's just been said so many times. I say, okay, yes, I'm buying the game, or this is a free game. So these microtransactions are paying for more content,
right?
And for a game like Fortnite, it's free, or Apex Legends, it's free. Okay, that makes sense. I'd rather them have these cosmetics. You can buy what you want a lot of times. That's the way to do it. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that we play all the time, and they're starting their 4th year of gameplay where, yes, they have a season pass that unlocks new characters every couple months, but you can buy them in-game. But they're releasing cosmetic, weapon skins and outfits like every week. They've got new stuff, but that justifies the game, sticking around. But, man, at some point, you have to realize that these companies are going to push that boundary as far as they can, they just are concerned about profits. They're not really, taking that money and investing all of it back into adding new content. That's not happening.
There's not $6 billion worth of content in GTA 5. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's funny about games? And, we all like, oh, yeah, GTA, they have the online and you got the game. Don't forget, GTA made you buy their game again. Like, there was no like, oh, hey, you own this on 360? We're just going to give you an HD upgrade for, they're like, oh, hey, we're going to add first-person view. And you're gonna pay $60 for it, but I bought it. They got me because I bought that game twice. Okay, so as Mike talks about Rainbow Six, let's talk about number one. We hit it briefly, but I want to go back to it. Number one, what are some of your favorite free to play games personally? Okay, and then number two, what games do you feel like you play now, or games that are coming out in the future, or franchises that could benefit? Could have or should have gone free to play already. I'll start by saying, I feel like I really, I love Apex Legends. I think it's awesome. I really enjoyed. What's some more free to play games we even played? I'm trying to. I'm racking my brain. Like I love Apex Legends. Fortnite was all right. I was never a big Fortnite guy. So I'm just going to skip the part about free to play games that I love because
I think you've bought enough games that you don't have to
yeah,
delve into.
I've got too many games. Does downloading them from Game Pass count as free to play games?
Well, I think Trevor told me. Didn't you guys play the what is it, D&D or the Neverwinter?
Neverwinter. I didn't play a lot of that, but these guys did, so they can maybe speak more.
Yeah, we had a good amount of fun on that, and that's a game I would not have spent money on, and that's really I think where that's a very very good subsection of those games is games that you're kind of taking a chance on that aren't you're not sure are going to be huge hits, but might find a cult following. I think we see that a lot with games like Warframe. Yeah, because Warframe is not a game that I would see and say, "Hey, I'm going to take a chance and drop $40 or $60 on this." Yeah, but I played it for a couple months solid, and I really had a good time in it.
So, did you put any money into Neverwinter or?
I never
Warframe?
did. I am very reticent to put post-launch money into a game. Especially on small things. Like I'm actually one of the kind of people who I'd rather buy a bigger pack or a type of a season pass kind of thing than kind of dole out on the smaller individual things.
Right. You also are the type of person that just does not have a ton of time to put into a game.
So it's not a very important investment for me. Yeah. I don't feel like I get a lot back.
You'd rather have quality time over quantity.
And I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to games, and I think that comes partly from my lack of time being able to play. I'm mostly happy just jumping on and having a good time. That's most of the time I spend hanging out with my friends, you guys.
Right, yeah. Thanks, man.
I don't have any other friends. Is online, and that's most of that chance that I get. So I'm fine playing games that I don't even necessarily like all that much if I'm just having a good time hanging out.
Right, I got you. That's something to be said because a lot of these games can nickel and dime you really bad. You know what I'm saying? If you don't watch it. You've spent, you've spent $40, $50, $60 on loot boxes from Overwatch. You know what I'm saying? And Overwatch is not free to play, so that didn't even count. Overwatch is a $60 game once again. But yeah, I mean, you can nickel and dime yourself real fast on free to play games and stuff like that. So I get you what you're saying as far as like having that giant season pass or that giant, good Lord. I mean, Fortnite's one of those things. Because they get you too, because in a game like Fortnite, you have to buy Apex Legends is like this too. You have to buy in-game currency to buy the thing you need, and you can't just buy like, oh man, there's a gun I want. It's only 9,000 currency in game, and you go, okay, cool. What are the? Oh, I got to buy 15,000 currency.
Yeah, I was say the currency packs are 8,900.
Right.
Like, guess I
gotta buy two.
Or just over. It's 10,000, so you have that extra 1,000 sitting there. You're like, well, I might as well get another one,
right?
Because I don't want to waste this money.
Dude, I spend so much money on Fortnite that way, and I don't even play Fortnite. I don't even play for because they had the little $500 characters that came out and it was like, oh look, here's a jump guy, but he's got a red suit on. I'm like, well, he's only $500. That's $5, and then I get an extra $200 to do what I want to do.
It's only on sale for today and tomorrow. If I don't buy it now, I'm going to regret this the rest of my life.
I don't want to lose money on this.
I'm going to grow up telling my children about the time that I could have bought Red Jump Trooper from Fortnite.
It's like the guy who didn't invest in Yahoo or Apple or Netflix.
It's exactly like that.
It's exactly.
Week from now, you're just going to be sitting next to the window and it's raining and your hands out and you're just like, what could have been?
Yeah. Guess what? I don't have the old pink teddy bear everybody dresses up at cons in Fortnite because I didn't buy it when it rolled around on the day to buy it.
It's Bitcoin all over again.
One of the things that we haven't really talked about for the free-to-play games is a lot of times they are designed in a way where you have to put a lot of time into them. Everything is going to take some time.
Yes.
I mean, you see that with Fortnite a little bit because you'd buy the Battle Pass.
Oh, the Battle Pass.
You don't get all these like cosmetics, and it's a completely, a whole different kind of thing. I mean, you have skins, you have like weapon skins, you have emotes so you can do dances and stuff like that, but you have to play the game during that season, quote unquote, for I think it's a couple months at a time, and you have to level up your character to get those things.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So it's this weird, like,
so you're buying it, but you could actually not get it if you don't play the game.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Definitely. The Battle Pass is $10, and it unlocks to where because the way Fortnite works is if you play and you don't have the Battle Pass, you continue to there's two ways to earn things in Fortnite. You can just straight up buy whatever's on sale that day. A lot of free-to-play games work like this. Guarantee you Apex will do this eventually. Call of Duty came out the gate doing it with Blackout. Once again, that's a paid game. But so they took this model where, hey, you can go buy things that are on sale for like that day, right? Once again, pink teddy bear guy or, the certain, picks or whatever. You can buy them. Or you can spend $10 and have the Battle Pass, which that is all the content, like almost exclusive content for that season. Okay. So when you hear Fortnite doing seasons, that's really all that is. They're like, oh, hey, it's Season 8 stuff. You buy the Battle Pass, but you have to play to unlock it. Like you got to play and gain experience. So you buy it, and you're like, okay, cool, awesome. I have access to all these Season 8 things. But if I don't play enough to earn the XP to unlock them, I bought a Battle Pass for Season 7. I have literally like 2 costumes, and that was it because I only played enough to get up.
So if Season 8 rolls around, you have not gained access to that stuff. Are you locked out once that season is over?
Oh, it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah,
wow.
It's gone.
No way, bro.
I do think you can go back and buy it. Like at the end of the season, if you have unlocked like 23 levels, I think you can pay for the pass you can get that. So I mean,
so you can pay
one more thing
to get the stuff.
I'm saying that if you hadn't paid for it.
Oh.
So there's a free version and then the paid battle pass.
You.
The free one, there's like nothing. I mean, you get like 4 things.
Wait, you can go back and get the battle pass items?
As I understand it,
I'm going to Google this.
Every season you start, I think there's like 80 or 90 levels as you level up. Okay, there's a free track and a paid one, and they're right above each other. The free one, I think you get like one thing every 5 to 10 levels, and it's not very impressive. It's just a little something. Whenever you pay for the battle pass, you get access to everything up to that level. So if you level all the way up to, 80 or so, or whatever the max is, you could then buy the battle pass and get all that stuff.
Oh, all the stuff you would have unlocked had you had the battle pass.
And I mean, they don't care.
Retroactively.
They're happy for you to pay for that. So you don't necessarily have to buy it right away, but I mean, if you're a kid and you're like, oh, I want all this stuff as I get it, I don't want to have to wait to the end of the season. Right. So I mean, either way, it's still one of those things where you're paying them for the right to play their game to get the stuff.
What a con.
That's how it's always been.
But that's the thing, because a lot of it is honestly built around the idea of addiction, or it's built around the idea of like, I got to get it. That's like me, man, straight up. And I had to sit there and like, put the credit card down because I was playing Black Ops, which, by the way, Black Ops has taken now $60 worth of my money. Yeah. I'm now playing. They don't charge me for the battle pass because that would be criminal.
Right.
But now the battle pass thing happens. I'm playing, but I can buy in-game currency to further my level because I've only got like 5 days to play all of this Black Ops to get to this unicorn gun I wanted. It was a unicorn skin, had little googly eyes on the end. And literally, it was addictive because I ended up paying. Well, I didn't pay, but it was like when I got the game, it gave me the extra, like, I pre-ordered, so I get the coinage that I can use. And man, one press of a button, I jumped like 25 levels, and I was like, well, let me use some more of it. Jumped 25 levels. Then I ran out, and I was like, let me get the credit. No, let me not do this. Right?
Yeah, that's such a dangerous slope.
It's everywhere, man. I did that for Halo 5. I was really into the cosmetics, and I put way more money than I it's not like I don't really feel animosity towards Halo for that. I just realized for myself, this is not good. I cannot do this ever again.
Right. And you're an adult, bro. I mean, like think about it. Think about if this would have been around when we were like 20 and 21, when I was spending stupid amounts of money on stupid. And there are people doing that right now. There are people who are like, oh man, Fortnite bought the battle pass. Oh, here's $70. Bam! I just bought everything. Yep. Kind of deal.
If I had been 20 and unmarried when Titanfall 2 was out, I'd have been spending mad money on those cosmetics, those Prime Titans.
But at least with Titanfall, you knew what you were getting. It wasn't random.
Yeah,
I mean, the other thing, so that's kind of the new way of doing it is the Fortnite. I think it's a little bit
battle
different.
Pass. Yeah.
Growing up, you had games like RuneScape was super popular, or World of Warcraft. They try to get you addicted and. They try to get you so that's what you play, and you're going to keep paying, for membership in RuneScape's case, or the monthly subscription fee in World of Warcraft.
Do you know? I was reading an article today, just really quick as you go into it. RuneScape started out as a free game, and then the .com bubble happened, and then they had to go to that subscription service to keep it alive.
Yes. I say it's still free. They have a free.
Yeah, they've always had a free version. Yes, because that's what I played because I was poor.
Oh, me too, man.
Hey, man, I was eating malto meal cereal. You know what I'm saying? I know the life, dude.
Me too.
I know the life.
The homeless
One
cereal,
of my
bag.
one of my favorite jokes, man, that Mike Williams ever made in our friend group. We were talking about people getting the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and like, oh, you get a prize inside, and Mike was like, you know what the prize of malto meal was? You got to eat. That was the joke, man. So good. So good. I still Mike's jokes on the regular for people
It's
that
fine.
don't.
At least he gave me credit, man.
I do.
appreciate that.
I always say
Always.
my buddy Mike Williams said this because it's
even when I'm not there, just to
Trademark Mike
strangers.
Williams.
I swear to you, even when you're not there,
Oh,
like dude,
that's
my buddy
nice.
Mike said one time because it got me so good because I was like, that's true. Just now I'm gonna steal it one day when I do a comedy routine. I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna give you credit from stage.
I'll see you in court.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up playing RuneScape, and when I was a kid, I never had membership ever. The idea of asking
here,
my
yeah.
parents, like, "Hey, can I have?" It's like $7 or $5 a month.
Oh, yeah.
Can I have $5 to play a computer game just for the month? I mean, like,
And they're going to
no.
look at you and say, that computer game you're already playing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
that's-
But no, but I can play it better. I can level up faster. And like,
Right.
you need to go outside before I
Like, the problem
Before I
is not
make
you
you go
playing this
outside.
game
level
too
up your
little.
butt, you know.
Oh.
Oh man,
So,
that's
I mean,
weird
and
things my parents.
So
would say
they
to me.
didn't really make money off of me as a kid.
Yeah.
As I got older, I did play a couple months where I'd pay the subscription when I was like a teenager and even in college, just to kind of see it. There's a lot of nostalgia for me for that. I just remember liking that a lot.
That dragon scale gear was dope,
it
though,
was,
man.
I mean, I probably still have an account I could go look up and So I mean, they didn't make a lot
Mike's
of money
wife
off of
better
that.
watch out. You're gonna get the credit card out and start buying Dragon Scale.
Bro,
armor.
no, I'm about to get to that. So we're talking about free-to-play games that you played, and you were like, "Oh, played a little Warframe." Like I just checked a couple days ago. Guess how many hours I've put into Warframe?
I'm gonna say 120.
500 hours.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I have 500 hours in any game.
You do not.
Cumulatively.
I don't think so.
All
I'll
games.
tell you, Matt.
You do not.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not the most played. I have a couple other ones. I think Siege is around there. The Witcher 3. So it's not like it's the only thing I played.
no, I gotta
but I
understand.
will tell you this: I don't know how much I've spent on that game, and it's not like I go through and buy everything.
Right.
But I do know over the last 2 years that I've been playing it, I have spent more than a normal price game.
Oh yeah.
I spent more than $60 on it, and I mean, maybe not a lot more, but for a game that was free to play, I have given them enough money where it's a real game at this point.
I guarantee you that you are in the small percentile of people who play that game that have not, because that's the thing. There are people out there. Fortnite doesn't get to $2.5 billion in 1 year, with most of its player base being like, I don't care. I'm just here for the fun.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
No, absolutely not. Most people who are playing free-to-play games, and that's the thing. So going back to one of our questions, what games, I mean, because what a world we would live in if some of the major AAA titles did this. $2.5 billion in a year. You look at something like, I'll launch off this. Rainbow Six could have easily done this. I feel like the model wasn't there. If Rainbow Six 2 comes out, they have no need to do that right now. But if Rainbow Six 2 were to come out in the next few years, it's like, if they didn't do a free-to-play model, they would be foolish. Because for me, it does. Now, I bought that game when it launched, so 4 years ago, whatever it's been now. But I still have a hard time buying, like, cosmetic packs and stuff. Because I'm like, wow, I mean, we got to buy the season pass for all the characters. And I got to, do all this stuff. But, man, if Rainbow Six went to a battle pass scenario, and that's a perfect serve up that they could do something like
I mean,
that.
they're one of the, I think, gold standards. I mean, they are a little aggressive with the cosmetics. It's a little in your face, and they're really expensive.
They're really expensive.
I still don't have enough to buy anything in Rainbow Six.
Well, Rainbow Six is, and we can go into this another time, but yes, Rainbow Six is a very unequal scale of like what in-game currency you get per game, which, by the way, each game probably takes you, 15 to 20 minutes to complete if you do all...
Yeah, I'd say 15 is a good time.
15 is a good time, and you get 120 max. I mean, if you...
About 100 to 250, depending if you win or lose.
Right.
Maximum, let's say you get 250, like you're sitting
so
pretty.
Let's do some math. So
Each character, 30,000.
Right,
Jeez.
right.
Now
So-
you can buy all 8 of them that come out in a season for I think $20, maybe 30. 30 bucks. So you could, and to me that's worth it. If you say, hey, I'm going to play this game a lot, $30 for a year worth of content or so.
Right.
That's fine. For me, I game share with Sean. I didn't even buy this game. So for me, I bought one season pass. I think year 3. It was fine, and I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah,
to put it into perspective, you would, if you won every game, which that doesn't happen, and you got max points for every game, okay, let's do a little math here. Max points for every game you would need to win 120 games, okay?
To get one character?
To get one character.
And there are 24 DLC characters.
You need to play 120 games.
25 and 26 are coming out.
Not even play. You need to win 120 games, which...
You ain't going to win.
That doesn't happen.
None of those, man.
If it's 15 minutes, that's 1,800 minutes, okay? Divided by 60, that's 30 hours. So you need to play 30 hours straight, win every single game, and then you could buy one character.
Wow. You are paying them extra money to not have to play the game as much. Think about that. I mean, really, that's just it's crazy that we're at this point.
Right,
you know? I remember back in the day when you get cartridge games, that game was done. There was no extra content. There was no patches. You hope there were no game-breaking bugs. Like $60 was your game or whatever. And
that was it.
Now it's, you got games releasing that aren't really working, and you got all this extra money you can spend on it. And it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's where we're at.
Digital world has really opened up. I mean, for the explosion of gaming in a good way and a bad way. You go back to them talking about gambling for kids with loot boxes and different things like that. So, what other games? So, Rainbow Six. What other games could you see going to a free to play model that would actually work and would actually probably draw a bigger player base? Maybe if they went free to play.
I'm surprised Overwatch has not gone free to play. I mean, honestly, it's not surprising because there's people are still going to buy the game. Blizzard just has that kind of clout. But I think with the things that have been happening at Blizzard lately, there's been a lot of layoffs. There's been a lot of a lot of shake up there. I would not be surprised to see Overwatch very, very soon go to a free to play model. I don't think they could get away with increasing the price of the loot boxes to accommodate for that, but I think they could do just fine on that model.
Actually, I could see them doing that because, to be honest, I just don't think the loot boxes are as big of a thing in Overwatch because you get them every level.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me because I don't play it as much, but if they went free to play I think they're $1 a piece now, or
if they went free to play, I would think they would get rid of loot boxes and move to a different model altogether of just buying that in-game currency or doing a battle pass. Because you got to think like a free to play game. I just don't know if people are gonna. That would be rough. A free to play game, and then now you're like, oh, well, I'm going to spend money on all these loot boxes, and I don't even know what I'm going to get because you 99 cents for a loot box is what it is right now.
I think that's for the single.
Yeah, $1 for the single loot box. Which is not bad. I don't know. The loot box thing is tough for me. Like that is a tough model that I really do not like because there's a. And you can get into the science of it or whatever about just the dopamine or whatever hit that you get, like the slot machine feel we had talked about where, you pull the handle essentially by purchasing a loot box. You're like, what do I get? And then you get that real high of like, oh my gosh, I got a legendary, or oh, I got a whatever. Then you got the stifling defeat.
I mean, heck, there are compilation videos of people online opening like hundreds of these packs all at once, and people are have like millions of views.
Yeah, people watching other people open stuff.
That's I don't know what that means, but it means something.
It means something. We're not smart enough to figure it out.
It's literally gambling. I mean, it's literally why people buy lottery tickets. It's why people do scratch offs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about that. Just like, oh man, what's going to happen? It's anticipation. It's like what's going to happen. And it's just it's ridiculous.
Well, and in a game like Overwatch, you can. They've done something to reduce it. I know at least recently, but you can still get duplicates in Overwatch. So you can pull duplicates out of packs you paid for. You get a little bit. You get a tiny percentage of the currency of what it would be worth.
Right.
But yeah, and for every legendary skin that's really cool that you really want that they add to the game, they add 10 sprays and 5 voice lines.
But you know who does a really good job of this? Halo, man. Halo.
That's true.
Halo 5, for all we can say about them, yes, there were 255 armor variants, and most of them were the same 6 armor variants with different paint jobs. Yeah. But you never got the same thing twice, and anything you did get the same thing twice was Warzone that you could use the same thing twice over and over and over again. They had a really great loot box system.
It was really good. I thought the cosmetics were nice. There was a little bit of frustration, I think, with the Warzone. People were a little upset because for that game mode, which honestly wasn't very popular, at least before they released Warzone Firefight. Like, if it had been more popular, people would have been even more upset. But the fact that you had to get packs to get the weapons and ships that you could use, ships, the
Right. Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah.
Vehicles would be the word.
Ships, too.
Ships and vehicles that you would use in the game, and they were consumable. They would be gone when you use them. So
and when you're wave 5 and you've got the double Warden Eternal on mythic difficulty,
right?
You need a freaking you need an Oni Scorpion to take it down.
Old gun goose not going to handle that one.
Not going to happen. You are going to lose.
If you could somehow spawn like 10 of them together, duct tape them.
If they could make a Voltron of gun gooses, you know what I'm saying?
I would pay for.
Oh man, you give me a you give me some sort of Halo vehicle that turns into Voltron. I'll pay for that.
Stack them together.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got the Mantis there. If you could make that out of gun geese.
But it's got to do from the new Voltron series. It's got to do the whole like form Voltron. They have to like move in like this
it's got to be a
color pattern.
That everyone has to watch.
And everyone's everyone's got to watch.
And it's just over and over again. Everybody spawning the same. I guess I'm watching anime for the next 10 minutes.
That's it. Hey,
something additionally, I think that most people I probably don't think about is another value of free to play games is there if Rainbow Six Siege 2 comes out and it's $60, I won't get it. Mm-hmm. If it's free to play, I'll play it. I won't spend any money on it, but they're getting me and a bunch of other people who aren't spending money to play the game still. That's increasing the player base. That's adding value to the people who are paying for it.
Rainbow Six Siege is only having 4 years of content because people like that game enough they're still playing.
Right, exactly.
If your player base dies, the game dies.
Well, and go back to it. You are not going to spend money, but Mike will, and
Absolutely.
I will, and there'll be things where it's like, a Rainbow Six comes along, and like, we got guys that. That's a great point. That a barrier to game sometimes is $60.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh well, I don't really want to spend my $60. On this. Let's take. I'll grab a random game out of the year that came out. What's one of the big games that came out on the 15th? It was like all these games came out. Jump Force. Let's say Jump Force, the new anime fighting game. Okay. I didn't pick it up just because I was like, I like it. It looked really cool. I saw it at PAX twice.
Reviews were just okay. They weren't great.
I saw it at PAX like twice, and I was like, man, it looks really good. But I didn't buy it because it was over $60. If Jump Force was free, would have definitely jumped on that tree.
We would have all played Crackdown 3 together if it was free to play. Can you imagine all of us running around? Well, I don't think you can play multiplayer with your friends. So
besides that,
no, let's not use that as an example.
But I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. If there were free to play games that dropped, dude, Star Wars Battlefront.
Absolutely.
If Battlefront 2 dropped in a free to play model, and man, I think you would have seen that game take off. And then people, you could have changed the microtransactions thing.
Yeah, it still would have had the same issues it had, but it would have had a very increased player base, and it doesn't cost the company anything. I'm not costing them any money by playing their game for free.
The issue, I think, is the opportunity cost where, like, let's say Anthem just came out. That's one. I don't think that game deserved to be free to play. I know it's getting a lot of flack, but there are so many people that aren't going to pick get that game up because it's $60. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
I think that's part of a culture, too, that people see a game with no PvP, and they see that as a huge letdown.
Single player games would never be able to make it ever. Single player games can never make it. I mean, you're talking about if you put Tomb Raider out as a free to play game, it's never going to make the money because I'm not going to buy enough skins.
Yeah.
But multiplayer, I'll buy stuff.
I remember what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Did you hear that pause? That hard pause, and I was like,
deep thought.
Oh man, how do I like get out of this sentence? And I started. I had no idea where it was going. I was like, Matt, say something. The issue is if a game comes out free to play. Let's use Anthem that just came out. It has multiplayer. Now, I mean, it's not PvP, but you're playing with other people. Yeah. The problem is that game probably cost them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make. A failed game is catastrophic for most studios. If it's a AAA title, it's a 4-year process, and it's going to cost them 9 figures to make, not counting marketing. So I think a lot of times companies are trying to hedge their bets by selling the game for $60, and then it'll go on sale for $40 in 2 months, and then maybe even a little cheaper, and then they're selling DLC, extra content, and then they're selling microtransactions.
I think there are some games that wouldn't be able to survive that initial period of low income.
The problem is so many games now are taking that approach, and they're not coming out in a fashion that makes you say that's worth $60.
And then you as a developer have to convince the producers that I know we're not going to make $1 billion in the first week. Yeah. But we'll make it eventually, I promise,
Yeah, we have to fix these issues because people are going to stop playing. There are a lot of people that never picked up Destiny after they paid $60 for the vanilla Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Then Destiny released two $15 DLCs that people hated, House of Wolves and The Dark Below. They really, really hated it.
That people hated.
And Taken King, which brought a lot of people back.
It was great.
So it's I mean, it's one of those things where, like, if your game comes out and nobody's willing to keep paying you, you got to figure something out. That's got to be a hard sell for the publisher.
Yeah.
Like if the developer has to be like, look, we need to stop making the content that you can charge more money for and fix these issues that people on the internet are upset
We need
about.
to spend money and not make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective, the most expensive video games ever created, number 1, Grand Theft Auto 5, $265 million. Okay, here's what's crazy. Put these numbers in the time the games came out, and that's astounding. GTA 5 came out recently, $265 million. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, $250 million. Star Wars The Old Republic, $200 million minimum. And then there's like Final Fantasy 7 is on here.
Oh, man, down there I see Too Human. That brings a tear to the eye. I really liked that game.
Really?
But it was a disaster.
Too Human.
It was cool and it was fun, and I really liked what they were going for, but it was a nightmare.
I mean, those are large numbers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
large numbers.
I don't know what the cutoff is, but I know that $100 million is on the side of large.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's large.
So, I mean, that's a huge gamble.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to mention
those are blockbuster movies, man, costing $100-200 million.
And it's like 4 years of work. And you can't stop and start if you can change things, but
once again, going back to our topic last week, Crackdown.
Yeah, you end up with a game like
we
Crackdown.
talked about that. Maybe they probably had to change some stuff over like 8 years.
You end up in a Metroid Prime 4 scenario where you just have to stop and start over.
And how much money do you lose in that process? But Nintendo will make all that.
They gonna be okay.
Yeah, Nintendo, because Nintendo's gonna sell that game for $60 when we're dead.
Yep.
Because
bro. Yeah, Nintendo has the benefit of making money hand over fist with the 3DS and the Switch.
Yeah.
But especially the 3DS. Like, they just print money. You just release Super Mario Bros. New version 9 and
man.
$60 a pop. Like,
that game came out in 2012.
All you gotta do is just release Pokemon Burnt Orange or Pokemon Gray Brown.
Pokemon Terracotta coming soon. Game Boy near
Pokemon
you.
Beige. Look, it's boring, but you're gonna buy it. Sorry, we're trying. We're not really trying.
So
I mean, but yeah, that's the issue. I think is they try to hedge their bets, but sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think
some people are insulted.
Yeah, I think there's.
I don't feel insulted that I paid money for Warframe because it was free to play game, and I made the decision later on.
No,
if I'd have paid $60 for that game, and then everything costs money, I'd have been like.
And you were buying the stuff you wanted. You weren't buying packs. You weren't
also
buying
important.
loot boxes.
God, free to play is such a scam.
Yeah, I think once you get past a certain investment cost to make a video game, I think you have to have that immediate cost. You have to have that influx of cash.
Right. And you do. I'll say this to wrap up my end of it, and then we'll shut this whole podcast down. But I feel like free-to-play games, I have had hours of fun in things like Fortnite. I've not been good at it. But I've had hours of fun and enjoyed time with my friends in games that are free to play that I might have spent $10 to $15 in, and I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm like you. I don't regret any money that I spent in a free to play game, simply because I'm like, hey, you know what? You put a lot of work in. This game is fun. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. Absolutely, I'll shame my family by spending money on your fake items. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and actually something else that I was going to mention specifically about Apex Legends is a game that I like and enjoy, but my disposition towards it is so much better because I didn't pay money for it.
Oh, of course,
if I had paid $60 for Apex Legends, I would not be a huge fan of it.
Right.
Because the game mode's not really for me. The time to kill, it's not like the old Titanfall games. There are things that I don't love about it, but the fact that I didn't pay any money for it, I'm only thinking about the things, when I think about that game, I think about the things I enjoy.
You only really focus on the positives because for you to complain about a free-to-play game feels foolish.
Yeah, there's no negative.
Because you're like,
It didn't
oh
cost
my
me.
God. Because I guarantee if you'd have paid for that, you'd be like, where are the characters? I only get to play with 5 or 6 characters.
Exactly.
This is bull crap. You know what I'm saying? But now, because it's free-to-play, you're like, this is quite nice.
Yeah.
This is pleasant.
Having a fun time. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The value or the fun per dollar amount very high when
Infinity
you have
percent.
Zero. Yes.
When you have zero.
Do not divide by 0.
Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna break the internet. For me, I mean, my conclusion would be free to play is really nice. There's a lot of fun games that you can play, as long as you are intelligent enough and disciplined enough to not let yourself fall into the prey of I have to get everything. That addiction where you're going to spend an insane amount of money,
Right?
Because there's a lot more than $60 worth of cosmetics in most of these games.
Absolutely.
So,
That was a very good final thought, Mike.
I thought it was.
I think we're, you know what? Starting next podcast, we're going to go around the table with final thoughts of the day's topic. That was beautiful. That was just very well put together.
You're welcome.
That was great. Well, guys, that's all the time we got for the 4-Plot Podcast. I'm Will.
Matt?
And Mike.
And don't forget, you can always catch us online, Xbox Live. Our gamer tags are out there. Go listen to the other podcasts. I'm not going to bore you with all of them right now, but find us on social media. As Mike always likes to say, Mike, give them the rundown.
Check out our Zanga blog, man. Just the one, the important one.
That's the important one, man.
Everything else is just, it's coming back, man. It's coming back.
It is, man. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, follow us, find us. You guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week for more of the 4-Plot Podcast. Today's music in the 4-Plot Podcast is from VGR. You can find them on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube by searching VGR or Video Game Remixes.